Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Stephen Guerin, part of Sports Allegiance's podcast YouTube page, and this is my top 5 NHL forwards in the game today. Now, I kind of compiled this list in terms of there was a little bit of bias, of course. A couple of these guys are kind of my favorite players. I also kind of based it off maybe some guys that don't necessarily get the love that maybe some of the top players are. There are definitely some honorable mentions. I think 3, 4, and 5 you could probably definitely swap out with a number of different players in the league. We're just in an era in the NHL right now that is extremely, extremely loaded in talent. Guys like Austin Matthews, like Connor McDavid, as you can see, even Sidney Crosby's kind of fallen off this list. But I think any of those, maybe those three guys, if you do this list a year from now, definitely Austin Matthews, definitely Connor McDavid are probably on this list. But I wanted to kind of, go a different route and kind of get players that maybe necessarily people haven't seen a lot, and also some bigger name veteran guys that I think have been on this list for years and years. So we're going to continue on. At number 5, Anze Kopitar of the Los Angeles Kings. He's actually arguably probably one of my favorite players of all time. Just an absolute monster when it comes to two-way playing. He's a leader. He can play all. He can play defensive. He can play offensive. He can score dirty goals. He can score beautiful goals. He took over a franchise that was extremely successful, with an extremely successful captain in Dustin Brown, and he's really taken the reins there and has continued to keep the Kings on track. I know they've had a couple of down years the past couple of years, but he definitely has them trending upwards. I believe he's a top 5 forward in this league just because of how well he plays, not only defensively, but on the offensive side as well. I mean, you can see those stats there. I mean, he's been a pure goal scorer. He scores goals, just under a point a game. In terms of his whole entire career so far, he's a plus 91 player. So I mean, he's really just been the ultimate consistent player, for years and years and years. And I think he just doesn't get enough love just because of where he plays. I mean, he plays for the Kings. I mean, unless the Kings are in the Stanley Cup Finals, you're probably not hearing a lot about them because they play on the West Coast, and a lot of their games are late, and a lot of the East Coast media that follows hockey doesn't necessarily watch a lot of their games. So I just believe that Anze Kopitar really is a solid top 5 forward in this league. And, like I said earlier, you could maybe throw an Austin Matthews in here or maybe a Connor McDavid. But, I mean, in terms of just pure all-around play, Anze Kopitar is much, much better than them. I mean, they might be better in pure goal scorers. They're going to probably put up more points. They're faster skaters, everything like that. But if you watch a game, watch Anze Kopitar, watch how he plays, how he dictates the flow of play, everything like that, and how he's just a pure leader on the ice. And I truly believe that that's why he belongs on this list and belongs this high up on the list. Second, kind of a real biased pick here, but Nathan MacKinnon for the Colorado Avalanche. What can I say? A once in a generational type talent. A guy that, I mean, he has everything that you look for in an NHL forward, right? Size, speed, skill. I mean, he plays it. I mean, from net to net, the way he can move the puck, the way he can carry the puck into zones and create his own shots. He is having a monster year right now for the Colorado Avalanche in the 2018-2019 season. And I mean, he's really kind of putting himself on that stage and on that level of where, Ovechkin and Crosby were in terms of top players in this league. I do believe that there are some deficiencies in his game where maybe he could be maybe a little bit higher on this list. But I mean, definitely on the defensive side. But I think he has been a top forward in this league for a long time, and I believe he's now really starting to blossom into a once in a generational type talent. I mean, he's got it all, everything you look for in terms of a hockey player. And I think he's just only going to get better. And I think we're just scratching the surface on how good Nathan MacKinnon can be. He's with a franchise now in Colorado that has had a history of great forwards. And he is now, definitely cementing himself with the Peter Forsbergs and the Joe Sakic's in Colorado, and making himself known to the NHL and around the league. I mean, you say Nathan McKinnon, people know that name, which is, you got to do a lot coming out of Colorado to do that. I mean, you've got to be a big-time player. So that's why I kind of put Nathan McKinnon here. Like I said, like in a year from now, I mean, he could be number one very easily. I mean, he is that type of talent. He is that type of player. And, we'll definitely love to see how he progresses, continuing his career. At number 3, I think this one might be a bit of a shocker because I think there are probably people out there that think that he's not even the best player on his team right now. Nikita Kucherov, I believe, is one of the top forwards in this league. What he has done in Tampa Bay, and again, playing in Tampa, not the biggest hockey market, a guy who has maybe kind of flown under the radar the past couple of years, but has been putting up huge numbers and being an extreme talent down there. Nikita Kucherov is that man. He is one of the top goal scorers in the league. When he shoots, he scores. I mean, you can look at the shots percentage. 17%. His 14.6% shot percentage is huge in terms of the NHL. I mean, your top goal scorers usually sit around 12 or 13. Like, he's almost at 15%. So when he's taking shots, he's scoring goals more often. He's a facilitator of the puck. He can score with the best of them. He's got the speed. He's got the skill. And he's really been a good pairing for Steven Stamkos down there. Stamkos has been a top forward in this league. He's been a top goal scorer in this league. But I think he's starting to get kind of overshadowed by his teammate here in Nikita Kucherov. A guy who's really come out and blossomed as a top forward in this league, a top player in this league, and a guy that's going to he's going to be around for a long time, and I believe is turning into the centerpiece in Tampa Bay. So I think Nikita Kucherov here at number 3 is maybe a bit of a shocker to some, but I believe it's definitely well-deserved, and he should be here probably for many years to come. At number 2, I don't think anything's going to shock. I don't think this is going to shock anybody. I think this is maybe more off of merit right now than anything. Patrick Kane is a fantastic forward in this hockey league. He plays all around, great style. He can score with the best of them. Like I said, kind of with Nathan McKinnon, the size, the speed, the skill to do it all on an NHL ice rink, and he has done it all. He's a Stanley Cup winner. He's won at every level that he's ever played at, and he's just been successful from the time he has stepped foot on the ice with the Chicago Blackhawks. And, in terms of natural pure goal scorers, I don't think there's anybody better than maybe who's on the number 1 on this list in the NHL right now. If I needed a goal in the last 2 minutes, Patrick Kane's on the ice for me. I believe he's the guy that can get it done. He's battle-tested. He's a leader. He doesn't wear the C. There's a pretty good captain there in Chicago, and Jonathan Taves. But, he is a guy that can definitely change the game, make a difference on the ice, and has really kind of come around as a very good kind of all-around forward who was more known for goal scoring maybe earlier in his career, but he has really come around and changed his game up and is really starting to put up good numbers on the defensive side as well. But of course, the goal scoring and all that's going to be what shines, and Patrick Kane is one of the best. And at number 1, I guess the summer of Ovi has continued through 2018 into 2019. There is no better forward right now in the league than Alexander Ovechkin with the Washington Capitals. He got a Stanley Cup last summer, and he has now just continued to dominate. He has continued to play at the highest level in the league, and he's been doing it for over a decade now. In terms of best pure goal scorers I've ever seen, Alexander Ovechkin is that man. He can throw it in the net. He sits in the same spot in the playoffs on a power play, and he still scores. Everyone knows where he's going to set up on a power play, and he's always there. He's taking one-timers, and he still scores, and that is the mark of a true, perfect goal scorer, in my opinion, in the NHL. Alexander Ovechkin is the top forward. He is everything you want. He is a mixture of size, speed, strength, skill. He can get nasty. He wears that C proudly, and he does everything that is asked for in a hockey player. I don't think there's anybody better. I think the whole argument with Crosby and Ovechkin that has been going on for so long, I think Ovechkin's finally taken it over, and he has finally, cemented himself with the Stanley Cup, but with the consistent play that he has had year after year after year. It was only a matter of time before he took over Crosby. I understand Crosby's been hurt. I understand he hasn't necessarily had the best luck in his career, but I mean, at the top peak pinnacle of Alexander Ovechkin's success this past couple years, I mean, he has been the best forward in the NHL, and I don't see anybody really taking that over for, at least another year or two. Alexander Ovechkin, best forward in the NHL, in my opinion. And I would just want to close out and say thank you guys for watching this video. It was awesome to do this. Please like, comment, subscribe to Sports Allegiances podcast. And if you have your top 5, I would love to see them in your comment section. Thank you.